Okay, is our time up? It is. It is. Welcome, everyone. Welcome, everybody. My name is Kathleen Garrity, and let me go ahead and do our housekeeping, and then myself and Ginger, who is co-presenting with me, will go ahead and introduce ourselves. So, Ginger, I'm going to let you go ahead and do some of the housekeeping things. How's that?
Sure. So, hi everyone. I'm Ginger. I work on the marketing team with TCI, and it's just some housekeeping items. If you have any questions at all, feel free to throw it in the chat. I see that we have someone who's trying to find the K-5 session. You would just exit this session, and then if you go back to the lobby, you should be able to find the K-5 science session there. If you have questions, feel free to throw it in the Q&A. If you want closed captionings, that's also available on the bottom bar of your Zoom window. And if you are chatting, just make sure that you have the everyone selection uh, selected so that everyone can see your message and share learnings from the session.
Perfect. Perfect, perfect. So before we go any further, let me introduce myself. My name is Kathleen Garrity. I am a 32, headed into 33-year educator. I'm in Tampa, Florida. Been with TCI since 2003. I'm currently a district resource teacher right now for K-5 social studies. So very excited you all are here. You heard me say 32 years, still in there. So if you have any questions in the moment, Ginger and I are going to kind of ping pong off each other here with any questions that you guys have. So please, please, please feel free to go ahead and ask away. So I know you all were putting states in there, and I'm going to give you just a couple minutes. Let's go with our state nickname or slogan. So if you could please, this is our very, very quick icebreaker. Go ahead and put into the chat your state's nickname or slogan. I'm going to tell you what mine is: Sunshine State. So guys, go ahead and put that in there really, really quickly. And if you need a couple moments to Google because you're not sure what your state nickname or slogan is, totally fine. But we're going to give you guys about 30 seconds to that. We're going to kind of go through really quickly and then go ahead and get started. Oh, Garden State. Yep. Oh, the mitten. We know where you're from. I learned that a couple years ago and have not forgotten. Cornhusker. Awesome. I know I'm going there in a couple weeks. I just love looking at all the names of all the different everybody where everybody is and all the nicknames on there. Awesome, awesome, guys. Thank you guys. So let's go ahead and get started. So what we're going to be covering today is we're going to talk very, very briefly about research about literacy and social studies and how they go together. We're going to walk through a third grade lesson, and I'm going to really hit those high points with literacy and social studies and what is available in your program to really, really help with that. And then make sure I do answer that question. What is in my program that'll help my students with literacy? I also want to talk to you too about timing. How much time is this going to take? Think about how much time this is going to take. So I want to make sure that walking you through, making sure you know about everything that you have and some of your new features that have just come out, and also helping you kind of marry the literacy and social studies together. So I have two numbers on the screen right now: 57% and 41%. Now, I want I want you guys look at the numbers and think, why what do those numbers mean? What could possibly those numbers mean? So what I'm going to do is let you guys give you a couple moments, think about it. Put it in the chat. What do those numbers have to do with literacy and social studies? What do those numbers have to do with literacy and social studies? And it's okay to be wrong. We're going to call this our like preview activity, sort of. What does 57% and 41% have to do with literacy and social studies? Oh, I love it. Reading and writing the content here. Oh, meta proficient. Oh, you guys have some awesome guesses. Not really sure. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Okay, guys, so I'm gonna put you out of your misery over here. In third to fifth grade, 57% of the vocabulary that students will need to read is social studies vocabulary. 57%. 41% is K-1 2 is social studies vocabulary that they will encounter as they read. So I'm going to go on my soapbox for just about 20 seconds here. We need to be teaching that, intentionally be teaching that social studies vocabulary to help build up our literacy for my students. We want them to be able to, hey, read and we're teaching them all those great skills, but a big part of it also is that vocabulary part on there. Okay, getting that vocabulary part on there. And this is a Marzano study. So if you're like, oh, I wonder where she got this, I didn't make this up this afternoon or this morning. This is a Marzano study. So that's why I do want to hit on those, make sure I do hit on those vocabulary and learn about that marriage that is there. So we are going to go ahead and go live right now with our TCI. We're going to be doing a third grade. Even if you don't teach third grade, you can still follow along. The content is going to be different, but how everything is laid up is going to be the same. Oops, there we go. Okay, so here we are. We are in our main homepage. And as we look on here, a couple of things that I do want to kind of refer you to over here. If when you open up yours, it looks like this, I always expand it because I want to make sure that I have the ability to see every single thing that is over here and everything that is in our lesson. That's going to help us with that vocabulary, with that literacy, and also help our students with their social studies content. So I'm on that home page. I'm going to go to my table of contents. We are going to be doing lesson 10. Now, in my district, we usually do lesson 10 towards the end of the year. We do it in April because April is National Financial Literacy Month. But I'm going to be honest with you, really, really like this lesson because it does have that rich vocabulary. And another thing I also do really like about this lesson is this economic vocabulary that we're going to be looking at builds on each other. It builds on each other from kindergarten, 1, 2, 3, whatever your fourth grade is whether it's state specific or it's regions, and then also to fifth grade. Now I'm going to come on down here to our classroom activity slideshow because this I'm going to walk through this immersion with you guys and we're going to be talking about some things on here. So I'm going to go ahead, click that open. And here we are. We are at the beginning of our classroom activity slideshow. And what we're going to be doing in lesson 10 is we are going to be looking at choices in a free market. So we're going to go ahead and start with our preview activity. And not with your partner because you don't have any partners next to you. But if you guys could take out a scratch sheet of paper, and I want you to go ahead and look at this picture. And look at the picture, look and see what's going on. Point out some details that you see in here. So, as you look at the picture, I want you guys to, on your scratch paper, and then go ahead and put in the chat, which person wants to sell the fruit? Why do they want to sell it? Okay, so which of those people do you think wants to sell fruit? And why do you think? Why do they want to sell it? So you can write that down. Go ahead and put that in the chat. Oh, good, good, good. The lady, yep, the woman that is there. Oh, I love it. She's a farmer. Awesome. And I know you guys use some context clues on there that she's the one standing behind there and the other man's kind of in the middle over there. And just from what we know from going to the market, remember third grade, so if they go with their family, they kind of know that's the person usually that's the one trying to sell it. And if you look out on your students and they're like, I don't know, you can always click this reveal and it's gonna help you out here. We got the seller over there. So I'm just going to show you the other ones and kind of go through the next one. What kind of prices would the seller like to charge? Would they like to charge high prices or low prices? Which person wants to buy the fruit? Then we're going to go ahead and reveal that. I've already asked you guys. And what kind of prices would the buyer like to pay? Low or high? Hmm. What do you think, guys? Go ahead, put that in the chat. What kind of prices would the buyer like to pay? Low or high? Yeah, we all do. Woohoo! Keeping it. Oh, I love it. A fair price. That is a great price. That is a great answer. And the last one, now you can kind of see on here, questions are getting a little bit more difficult. What kind of price they'd like to pay? What do you think the seller might do to her prices? It's lots of people want to buy her fruit. Oh, now we're getting definitely into a higher question over here. If everybody's wanting to buy her fruit, what's she going to do with her prices? Why? Okay, so if you want, you go ahead and put it in the chat. I'm going to go ahead and go to the next one. And we would go ahead together and we would go ahead and read the introduction. And this introduction is about choices in a free market. And we could go through here, think about what you have at home. People buy things with money, and go ahead and go through this with my students. Now I'm going to hold on to that. You see that vocabulary right there? We got a couple different options after we get done reading with the vocabulary. Before I forget, though, I do want to show you all a new feature that is available through TCI that just came out, I think, on Monday. So on here, before I start talking about vocabulary, on here we have some of our tools to help out with differentiation with the reading. So we have it, you can lower down the Lexile level and 3, 4, and 5. And it is coming for K1 too. But many times the Lexile level is already low enough on there. It will also read for you and you can lower down the speed. You also have control over narration or it reading from text to speech. Now, a new feature that we have is we already have Spanish built in, but one of the new features we have is we have other languages that are available. What you need to do though is what do you want to have translated? And it is translated through Google Translate. So I'm just going to ask it to do this part right here. And I'm going to come over here to this right here, translate select text into whatever you want. And I was playing around and the first thing I had available was Chinese. So I went ahead and picked that. And there it is. It's translated for me right there into Chinese. And the only reason I picked that, it was the first thing that I had available when I opened it up. And when I click on this arrow right here, it's going to read for me. And as I said, it is done through Google Translate. And that is a brand new feature. It's got many, many, many languages. Please, when you get a moment under your digital resources, please go ahead, take a moment and go ahead and look at that. Awesome new kind of game changer because that is all from teacher feedback. People are like, hey, we want it to go into other languages. So there we go on there. Okay, now I'm going to go on back. We have a few other ones like main idea, highlighting, and also adding a note on there. So I do want to talk to you guys since I kind of teased you a little bit with that Marzano the idea in there about how much vocabulary is needed, social studies vocabulary. So right down here on that first page, we have the vocabulary that we're going to be using in this lesson. And here they are right here: demand, incentive, profit, and supply. Now, a couple different things that you can do. We can go right into the glossary, or we can look at those words through our vocabulary cards. I went ahead and clicked right on it. Here's the word demand. It can be read to me. I can go ahead and flip the card. have the word up there. It can be read to me again. On K1, 2, these cards already have on them, they already have on them a visual, but you can, and I will show you guys towards the end, I will show you on there where you can add a visual for there. So you can go over the vocabulary starting out with your students. That vocabulary, where it is mentioned, is already embedded in the reading too. So if you go ahead and look at that next one, what it is: an incentive, profit, and then we also have supply. Okay, and you saw on here, it opened it up in a separate tab for me. So I can go back and forth in there if I so choose to. Okay, so after we read, now think of a good or service that you or your family bought recently. You're going to go ahead and put them down in your activity notes. And students can do this right into their student journal, or they can do it on the digital platform. So I'm going to go ahead. We already worked on that. Now let's go ahead and look at our video activity. Now you can do it just like I did right in there with that intro, or you can have your students stand up, say the word demand. Let's go ahead and use it in a sentence. The price increases when there is a demand. Let's go ahead and look at the picture. We see a girl that's grabbing a teddy bear on there. Let's go ahead and talk about the definition. The total amount of a good or service that customers will buy at, let me move I got my screwed over here. It's kind of, I can't see it. Buy at all prices. So great way to also go over those vocabulary. And that is built into your classroom activity slideshow, going away all the way through. Now, even though these visuals are not there in the flip cards, they are available here in our classroom activity slideshow.
It looks like we have a few questions
Okay.
in the chat. So one question is from Michaela, and she's wondering, so students can access the slides and follow along, or are you presenting it in front of the class? How would you use these slides?
That is totally up to you. So let me go back here. You can right here underneath, right here on your main dashboard. Do you see this little right here, create an assignment? You can assign this classroom activity slideshow to your students. Now, what I have done, especially in the beginning, is I want them focused on me. So I go over this with my students. I don't assign it to them, but you can. You can have them have it on their computer, or you can have them this as your teaching tool.
And then we have some questions about, can you print different Lexile level text?
Yes. So right underneath here, let me go back over. Oh, here it is. So I'm going to go back to my reading on here. And you can save the text to your drive, and then, oh, I'm sorry. You can do that, or you can also come right over here to print the text. So what you need to do is you just come over here because it's going to print what is available to them. So you're going to come over here, lower down that Lexile level, and then come over right over here to this print button.
And then a question about, do the slides match the textbooks or the student
Yes.
journals?
Oh my gosh, yes. They match exactly. There is not so that text that you saw when I went through under that present and I had it available right there, it matches perfectly. There is no difference between what the teacher has under their classroom activity slideshow and what is in the student journals.
Okay, and the questions keep coming in. Uh,
Okay. Not a problem, guys. Totally fine.
Spanish slides do you have classroom slides in Spanish? And I don't know if you can show them how to access that
Totally.
with the
I'll do that
toggle.
right now. That's a quick one. And that's a great question. So I'm sure other people do. On this main page right over here, on this bottom, by the purple sidebar, navigation bar, whatever you want to call it, you see I have English over here. So if I click over here to Espanol, everything is going to change to Spanish, including my slides. Now, if I went to it right now, it would be in English because remember, I opened it up in the beginning in English, but it moves everything over to Spanish.
And then lots of questions about, I think Jen, I saw your questions in the Q&A as well about if they don't have their own journal or the digital subscription, how can they, how would you make answering the questions or drawing more interactive for them? I think we
Okay,
might
so
need, yeah, sorry.
that's okay, Ginger. So just I did not for many years have something like that for my students. So I had a composition book, and I would, just like I would have on here, project this. They don't need that. It's great to have it, but they don't need it. You can project it and say, okay, guys, let's do this. This might be a little bit hard for them to do this in their composition book all by themselves. We can do this as a whole class. But anytime you have any of those questions or that vocabulary, they can write that down in a composition book.
Okay, two more questions.
Sure.
Someone who's new to TCI, their second year, they're teaching second grade. What resources do students get?
Okay, so that very much depends on what your district got. So some districts, that's very the best person to ask would be who in your district is the person that did the purchasing, because they would be able to answer what my district purchased might be different from what your district purchased. Because we do have like activity cards, and some people have the digital and the print. So, and that's very much up to the district.
Okay, so if you assigned activity, is it automatically on a student's profile through TCI or Canvas?
It does. It now it your Canvas has to be linked, and that is an integration, which if you come over to settings, that is where you're going to be able to find that. And at the end of this session, we're going to talk a little bit. One of the things I will be showing you guys is that professional development, and it has a whole part in there about integration, but it does show up under their assignments. So let me show you guys that really, really quickly. I'm sorry, I felt like I did a little tease on there, but if I come over here and I click this create assignment, I'm under my main dashboard. It's going to fill in everything for me, give it to my students. When do I want it due by? I just click assign. And let me just show you very quickly where that's going to show up. So under my main home page, there it is. And where it's going to show up for my students and your students is going to be under current assignments. And all they have to do is, you'll see on here, these are all hyperlinked. They are all good to go. And you don't need to give them all of it. You can just give them the vocabulary activity. If you saw on that assignment, it has a way for you to unclick things.
Okay, excellent. I think that's everything.
Okay,
Please
okay. So then
continue
we'll go
and I'll
ahead.
let you know when more come in.
Sure, these are all great questions. So right now we're still kind of in that preview part. We've worked on our vocabulary. So here's another little check for vocabulary. I am probably not right because I'm not even reading these, which is probably not smart on my part. Oh, I got one right. This is something that you can truthfully assign this to, you can assign this to your students to do. You saw that on there. But this is something that you can do whole class. Another great practice with vocabulary. So now we're going to head on into our hands-on activity. This is that engaging part. Great for students to really, really get involved in their learning. And this is called the fruit market game. So here we go. We're going to read some sections first. We're going to get our background information. Then, with our partner, we're going to get ready to play the fruit market game. We're going to play around, we're going to sing a song, and then we're going to read another section and complete our activity notes. So we're going to have read and those sections, and then we're going to have a little discussion with our students. Why do people need to earn money? So this is going to be something that they're going to read about. What are some ways that adults can earn money? And why do sellers want to make a profit? I'm going to go ahead and answer those with our class. We're going to go ahead and talk about our activity notes. Now we are going to play our game. And if you're like, Kathleen, How do I get the stuff to play this game? Let me tell you, these are actually activity cards that we are going to use, but I want to show you where to find them in your program. So going back to this home page, I'm going to go back to chapter 10 because everything that we have is lesson specific. I hit that table of contents, going to chapter 10. Hey, right here, materials. This is what I need to play this game. So I'm going to need fruit cards that look like this. And I'm also going to need some play money that looks like this. Okay. So we have divided our class into sellers and buyers. Okay, guys, here we go. So each pair of the sellers, so they're going to be working in pairs, gets 8 pieces of fruit to sell. Your goal is to make as much money as possible. Each buyer each of our group of buyers only gets $4. Your goal is to buy as much fruit as you can. Oh boy, we got a lot of fruit. Not a lot of money over here. So students are going to go ahead, talk to the people, and decide, we're sellers, what's our strategy? Because we know what everybody has. Buyers, what's our strategy? Round one, we're going to buy sellers. You go out there, get your fruit stands ready. Buyers, let's get ready to go. You are going to buy, so I'm going to let them go. Buyers, you're going to buy until you have no more money. And sellers, your goal is to sell all your fruit. Then we're going to go ahead and debrief. How much money did you make? What strategies did you use? Buyers, how many pieces of fruit did you get? So at the end, after we're done, we're debriefing it. What happens to the price of fruit as the activity went on? And if the students are a little confused, the price had went down because we had not a lot of money and a lot of fruit. Why do you think that happened? After we do that, then we're going to sing this awesome song. And it's a great way to get your students up and moving. So we're going to talk, because we're going to talk about supply and demand. I'm just going to play a very small amount of it. Go hand in hand, they always change. I can understand. So supply goes, oh, supply is high. Okay, so you can kind of see on there where that's kind of going over what just happened. And then you're going to read section 3. Okay. Now we're going to go ahead in their student journal, or you can do this as a whole class. We're going to label and then talk about some of the things that they talked about in there. So they have that, they're remembering what exactly went on. Now we're going to do round 2. A little bit different here, a little bit different. So now, if you were a seller last time, you will still be a seller. Buyers now will still be buyers. Oh, now we got a difference. We have more money, less fruit. We're going to talk to your partner. What are your strategies? What are we going to do? Then we go ahead and debrief. Now, a little bit different. Okay, now we have not many fruit, lots of money going around. So that's going to change the whole entire thing on here. So now we sing our song again, because now we've got that other part of it too. We're going to read section 4. I'm sorry, guys, be kind of going through this a little bit, but it is a real world experience with supply being low and demand being high. So afterwards, we're reading section 4, completing our reading notes for section 5. And now we are done with that, and we've debriefed it and we filled out our notes in there. Now I want to go over the last part, which is our show what you know. And so what happens when supply or demand changes? So then we're going to go ahead and we're going to read section 5, read about what happened. We've got some scenarios that we're going to go over as a whole class. So here's scenario 1. Farmers in California have had wonderful weather. They have produced the largest crop of watermelon in years. What will happen to the price of watermelon? So guys, go ahead and put that in the chat. Okay, how are we doing on there, guys? How we doing? Oh,
It looks unanimous that prices will decrease.
awesome. So just to note, now they did their little, they did their little thing over there. But now we've got some real world scenarios that we're going through. Got a little Florida in there. What happens to the price? Um, so we have some definite scenarios on there. So then we're practicing some more supply and demand. Okay. So they're real, as I said, real world experiences on there. So now this last one is now they're going to use what they learned, and this can be used as a formative. Explore prices where you live. In the box, draw or paste a picture of a good or service. Write the price. Explain why it has a high or a low price. In your answer, use the word supply and demand. So now, taking a look at what they actually have out there. What do you think about the price? Why do you think it's high or why do you think it is low? Okay. Now, I'm going to be asking for some of Ginger's help on here. We have gone through our lesson. Now, I'm going to show you one last part in there, which is study your community, a little bit more of an extension to this lesson. And then I'm going to be asking you guys to put something in the chat here. So how can we prepare to work in our community? Fill out the column. This is all if you do have time for this, something you might be interested in doing. So this is kind of an extension, as I said, to if you want to continue on with that economic lesson. Okay, and left side, what am I learning? What can others use at this work? Okay, and that is the official end to this lesson. So before we talk about timing and how much all of that takes, I want you guys to put in the chat, what are some things that you liked about this lesson? What are some things you're like, oh my God, I love this lesson and here is why. So if you guys can go ahead and put that in the chat, please.
Being hands-on, interactive, game songs, real world activity, connects you to real world, the music, the vocabulary flashcards, hands-on, everything, but I struggle with time.
Yes, yes, yes. Okay, so let's go ahead. I'm going to go back a little bit and go back. Actually, I'm going to kind of do one of these things over here. So this right here. Now, I'm sorry, I'm gonna get ahead of myself here. Now, it says on here 30 minutes. Now, to actually do the fruit market game, that doesn't take that much time. What is the discussion that you have with your students. And that also is going to help out with that vocabulary. That lesson is probably going to take you about 4 or 5 minutes. It's a quick one. It's not meant to take that much time because you're gonna see that frustration on there. The same with round 2. But you do want to have time to go over and do make that connections on there. Some of those with the handouts that they're going to be writing on, that is going to take a little bit of time on there. Okay. Um, and that also, as I said, kind of depends on your class. Do you want to do it as a whole class, or do you want them to take the time to go ahead and write it into that, and to write into their student journal, or to go ahead and write it on here? If you shared this slideshow with them, they can go ahead and write it on in there too. Okay.
Similarly, so follow-up questions.
Sure.
Someone asked, can the sessions be broken up, or how would you break up this activity?
Oh, now this activity, now I would not break up the rounds. And what I mean by that is you definitely want to do round one all together. And could you do round two the next day? Yes. You can go ahead and say, hey, remember when we did this? Let's talk a little bit about it. Let's play that song again, kind of as a refresher for them. And then the next day you might, and I know sometimes, but if you put those two together and you do them, maybe let's say you have 25, 30 minutes in your for your social to teach social studies, you can do round one, go over it pretty quickly with them, and then go ahead and do round two, and then go back over with them. Hey, let's talk a little bit about what happened in round two, what happened in round one. So you can kind of save doing those reading notes, filling in their student journal till maybe another day. And that would that because they have experienced it and they have feelings, that's totally stays in our mind. We remember when we have felt something. We have that engaging part on there. Okay, so any other questions about this lesson?
I have a question, similarly, um, about pacing. How do you like do you have any advice on how to keep up with like the minutes that are on the overview slide, or how to pace this lesson?
Okay. Now, these minutes are if you go through step by step by step, you do the reading, and then, um, I go over it and I was like, this is what my goal is for today. I am just going to go over with them about this, what a buyer and seller is. That's what I'm going to go over with my students today. And I'm going to go over the introduction. That's about what you're probably going to go over with. And if you have 25 to 30 minutes, okay, especially if they're going through and filling in any of this. Okay, because remember, this is third grade. Okay. Now, can you instead do this as a whole entire class and it will be a lot quicker? Yes. Let me also talk to you too about this vocabulary. Going over this vocabulary, this is going to be probably 2 or 3 minutes if you do it the way I just said. Okay, guys, let's read the word. Let's say the word. Let's read the sentence. Let's do the definition. Then go to the next one. What I have also found too to help out with vocabulary is that this can also be morning work when they walk in. Another helpful hint too with the reading is when they come in, and you have that morning work time and something that you're going to be doing in social studies does require them to do some reading, have them come in and that can be their morning work. Put on the headphones because it does read to them. They can put on the headphones and listen to it read to them. Or they can work with a partner if you do not have it digitally and go through and read also. Great way that now they've got, hey, this is what we're going to be reading about today in social studies. These are all things that I have seen um, teachers do.
Excellent. There are lots of questions similarly. Like some people have
Okay.
25 minutes, some people have 55 minutes, some people have 90
Oh,
minute
yeah.
blocks, 60 minutes.
Oh, wow.
Um,
60 minutes. Oh, it must be like maybe once a week or every other day.
yes, a week total.
Yeah. Yeah. So something like this, I definitely would do that preview. I would probably do the reading for that first week, and then the next week, do the engaging part of it. Do that in your next 60-minute block, that for the next week, do that reading part of it. I'm sorry, not the reading, the fruit market game. Because then they're gonna have a little bit of background. And you might have before you do it there, put out those because those cards, let me go ahead and show you what I'm talking about. So right here, the vocabulary cards, you can print these off right here where it says print, and you can make these into flashcards. So I open them up right here and print them front to back, or you can, glue them together. You can also make matching game out of them too. So if you print these off, one side will be the word, the other side will be the definition. And on here also, and I kind of went through that quickly. I'm sorry, I didn't take my time over here. Underneath your navigation bar over here, come over to vocabulary cards. I apologize. I apologize. That's where you're going to find the vocabulary cards. This is the master deck. See where it says TCI? This is KG, that's me. So these are all ones that I have copied or I have made changes to. So you can print them off right here. You can also make a copy of them. This, you cannot throw away the master deck, but you can throw away if you made ones you're like, man, that one very good. I can delete this. I'm like, man, I took one away. I shouldn't have done that. Um, and as I had said before, K1-2 cards do have a picture on them, but 3, 4, 5 flip cards do not. So you can go right here under edit and you can go ahead and add an image on here. You can also change the wording. You can be like, there is no way that my students are going to be able to understand that. So I'm going to go ahead then and change the wording of it, which you can, and then it's going to be saved under that main page. So let's say I want to get rid of the word amount here. Too much. Don't want that word amount, which I know doesn't make any sense, but trust me on that one. And I'm going to click done. Okay, and then this is I've edited it. This is the one I've edited. So there it is right there, already edited. Ooh, I can speak over here.
And then a quick question. You can't
Sure.
throw away the master copy of the slideshows, correct?
No, you cannot. No, you cannot. So let me go on back to my main page. Can you make changes to the slideshow? Absolutely. Can you throw away your changes? Absolutely. So under the slideshow right here, I can go ahead and I can edit it. Okay, you notice on here, there is nothing on here that has the garbage can. There is no garbage can, which means that when you go in and you're like, I want to edit it or I want to make a copy, you can throw away those, but you cannot throw away the master. And if you do make a copy, it's going to be saved here under my slideshows, which I do have one. And it's saved there for the life of the adoption. And you know it's yours because it's under my slideshows and it does have that ability on there.
Great. That's all the questions in the chat so far. I'm actually going to throw in an ebook resource in the chat as well about literacy in K-5 classrooms.
Ah, perfect. Is this Ginger? Is this the one that TCI does have out? Because I did have that one and I did use that one for some of the research that I used.
Yes, that's right. We just put it out maybe a few months ago. So I'll just drop
Perfect.
that in the chat.
Perfect, perfect. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay, guys, so I do want to go over a couple other things that are also available too. Is when you are all done, if you scroll, oh, before I forget, up here, under this planning tool, you are going to find ways to differentiate and also enhance this particular lesson. So if you're looking at it and you're like, what are some things that I can do for my ELLs or my advanced learners or my students that are just way under grade level? Please go ahead, take a look. As I said, it is lesson specific on here. They do also have some handouts too for access points. Underneath here, you are also going to find some dive deeper, which are some primary sources. And down here, we have some ways to assess our students. Show What You Know is a great formative assessment. We have lesson games and the vocabulary game, which can be done whole group or can be done individually. If you do not have the digital platform, go ahead, do it in whole group. I used to do it all the time with my students, gave them a whiteboard, went in. Powered by Pizza is a vocabulary game and they move along and then you have to have roadblocks and it asks you the definition. This one is done by the section. So what happens when demand is high and supply is low? Prices go up. People stop buying. Oh, no, no. So now that we got that right, I got it on there as answered. So it's a great thing to do with your students to kind and it adds that whole game on there too. And you can restart it as many times as you want. Do this in the beginning, do this when you got about 10 minutes left before everybody leaves, just for something fun for them to do. So that is on that main page on the very bottom. And if you do teach fourth or fifth grade or even third, we do also have TCI assessments too that you can use. I do also want to direct you to the end over here. This is like the back matter. Some great reference tools that are right over here. Okay.
I see two questions. There's a question that two people asked about sharing slideshows with teammates or teaching teams. I actually don't know the answer to this. I'm wondering if you do.
So right now, I believe, Ginger, I don't think you can. I'm gonna hold on one second. Let me see if that option, because they keep on improving and adding things on. You can share assessments. Um,
If this is something you
I
need and we are not able to do it, I would definitely send in a request
please, please,
to,
please. Yes,
yes.
yes, yes. So let me go. Let's go back to the lesson. Where was my? Oh, here it is. Back to the lesson. Oh, I could have also shown that up here. So right up here under where it says this little question mark, it's got feedback. And please, please, please feel free to put any feedback on there. And I totally understand exactly what you were saying on there. Please feel free to, and because if that is something that they're working on, or that is something that is brand new that they do have the ability, when you do send that feedback, they will let you know immediately, yes, this is how exactly you do it. But that is a great question.
And then Jamie is wondering, when they got a school preview, they saw another reading option that has them answer questions along the way. I think I think that might be the slideshows, like when you have the questions embedded
Yes, I think
in
that's it. And
them.
yes, because when you send it to the students, they can then go ahead and put their answers on that slideshow. And where it comes up is it comes up here under your grades. I don't have any students in here. That's why there's nothing showing up here. But yes, that's where it would show up.
Okay, great. Oh, Jamie said it wasn't the slideshow. It looked completely different. So,
Okay, maybe it's because you are answering those student journals as you go through too. That's another thing that they're doing as they go through. Okay, so Ginger, should I go ahead and go to
I
like
think
our
so. I think we're around
okay,
2 minutes.
okay. So we are here to help you every step of the way. Um, so anything you need help with. And we also, as I said, in-app PD. Let me show you that really quickly. Under here, under professional development, here's where you're going to find that in-app PD. So if you need any help with anything, there it is right there. And also, please become a TCI coach. That's also under the in-app PD. And do we want to give them like the next things? I love these reflection. You guys are welcome to put the emojis in there, but I just want to make sure that we, have time for you guys to go ahead and do you know, any like Instagram and Facebook with our llama. And so I do want to make available to you though with our next what's coming up next. So you guys have a chance to go in there.